Sports Introduction Scheme. Giving everybody a chance. Lucy Holt and Dylan Banks.
Our scheme. Our motto is giving everybody a chance. So this was our aim, to give everybody a chance. Some people don't get involved in sports because they feel too embarrassed or don't think that they will fit in with other people or for other reasons. Our scheme is based on a running club. We have decided to set up a running club scheme where everybody, including older people and wheelchair users, can be a part of. Even blind people and their guides can also be a part of it. For the running club, we are going to put on different events and let individuals decide what they want to do. However, there will be different coaches for different activities that the participants are attracted to. For running, the wheelchair users will be able to use their wheelchairs either before or after the runners. There will also be walking events going on too. We'll be putting on throwing events too, where people can throw discuses, shot puts, javelins, or even balls if they prefer. To this event, we will be hiring out an athletics track at Northwood Stadium so that it looks like a proper competition. The idea of this is to get people to exercise and have fun. If they want to take it seriously, they can do, and if they want to just have fun and meet new people, they can also do that. There will be different fun days going on where they will be in mini tournaments too. People can compete against each other in their categories. For example, children will go against each other, the elderly can do a walking race or partake in a running event if they want to. There will be wheelchair races and lots of other things going on. By putting on mini tournaments, it will give the individuals opportunities to show how they have improved and participate in competitions with no pressure. We will try and keep this scheme up and running for as long as we can and try and make it successful. Once we have done it a few times, we can gather numbers and go from there.
Objectives. Our scheme's objectives were to get everybody and literally everybody involved in sports, regardless as to how good or not so good they are. This was one of our aims. We believe that children especially spend too much time on video games, sat in front of a television, and not enough time exercising. Because of this, we came up with a scheme that helps people to get involved in different types of sports such as running, throwing, walking, and lots of other things. We believe that people would benefit massively from this. As well as this, we then thought that parents and grandparents had to do something while they brought their children. So we came up with this scheme so that they can get them involved too. We then figured that children and adults may tell their friends about it, so why can't they get involved too? We chose to do this scheme because even though it isn't necessarily the cheapest thing to do, it is available for everyone. By the scheme, we are also offering coaches, courses for people. By doing this, we are creating opportunities for them all.
Smart targets. So specific. Getting people from all ages and abilities involved in sports and build their confidence. Measurable. We will know when the scheme is successful when we see the amount of participants there is and collect feedback from all of them involved. Attainable. We believe that this scheme is acceptable. Even though there is plenty of running clubs around, they all offer the same. We, on the other hand, offer something more, such as fun. We also make it appropriate for everybody, such as the elderly and disabled people. Lots of running clubs don't offer that. Relevant. We believe this is relevant due to the society we are in today. We don't think that there is enough sport and opportunities for people with disabilities or older people. Our aim is to give everybody a chance, and that is what we are doing. Time. To set the scheme up, we gave ourselves 2 months for the planning to discuss what we are going to do. We gave ourselves another 2 months to get volunteers and the word out there. We then planned to spend 1 month to get advertising out there. In total, this gave us 5 to 6 months, which we thought would be a tight considering we had to get the venues and different things. However, we did think it was manageable at the time. We didn't want to drag it out too much because of money and other things. We decided to get people on coaching courses if it deems to be a success.
Gantt charts. The Gantt chart is like a time frame. So, for example, for our scheme, our time frame and tracking is between 1 to 2 months. Within this scale, once we have come up with a scheme, running club in brackets, we will be coming up with aims and objectives and come up with smart targets. We'll be finding facilities where we can use Northwood Stadium, and come up with target markets. We will then be looking at delegating roles out, such as getting the equipment and advertising, etc. Between 3 to 5 months, we'll be looking at volunteers to get on board with us. We'll begin making advertisements and get confirmation from facilities, and then we will be putting a contingency plan in case something goes wrong. We will cover everything that could potentially go wrong. And then 6+ months, if it reaches that far, we will be handing out the advertisements in local shops and hanging them on lampposts and trees, etc. We will do taster sessions once everything is in place, and we have made finalised plans. We will then get feedback from taster as to what can be improved, and then we will make everything finalised, get proper sessions going, and arrange competition days.
Decision-making models. So a decision-making model is a bit similar to the Gantt chart, except it's laid out a little bit different. So here we've got a running club scheme in the middle because that's what the scheme is. Then branching off that, we've got advertising, making a plan, financials, collecting ideas, roles, gathering equipment, facilities, and creating smart targets. There is other stuff that can go on there too, but these are just the main things that we decide to put on.
Funding bids and applications. Before we consider applying for funding, we need to get all the paperwork and set up meetings with different organisations. We need to discuss the reasoning behind the scheme and what our aims and objectives are. We will also have to discuss the costs and possibly provide proof of what the money has and is going to be spent on. It is also important that we provide a perfect structure of how we aim to keep this scheme up and running and how it is going to benefit the community and improve the city. It is essential that we create and provide councils and those who we are applying for funding with all the right paperwork to increase the chances of us getting funding and grants. There may be a chance where we may need to apply for a bank loan to cover costs, in which case we will need to attend meetings to discuss the costs before they make any executive decisions.
Contingency plans. We will of course have a backup plan. If a coach doesn't turn up, we will look at combining some groups together and have a multi-event session where the athletes can try out new events. We'll also have risk assessments put in place and make sure that the equipment has been thoroughly checked before each session and competition, and to make sure that the venue and other possible obstructions are safe and not going to put anyone at risk of being hurt. First aiders will also be there at all times. This includes the coaches being first aid trained and defibrillator on site too. There will also be a member of the committee who are in charge of safeguarding. This is important because if a coach or member of staff or even another parent does exploit inappropriate behaviour toward an athlete, the safeguarding team will be there to deal with it. This is important as there may be a case where the police might have to be involved and social services too. The coaches will also have a list of athletes and other members, such as coaches, in case there is a fire or another emergency such as an athlete going missing.
Staff training. It's important that coaches are all DBS checked before we allow them to be alone with the children, and that they are all first aid trained. This is important in case an athlete is injured or something happens to them. Then they are there to help out before an ambulance has arrived if needed. The coaches will also have to be qualified in coaching with a minimum of level 2. We can sometimes help to get that for them. It is important that coaches have a qualification at least level 2 so they know what they are doing and what the athletes need to do to help them to improve their abilities and perform safely. The coaches also need to be health and safety trained so that they know how to use the equipment and what not to let the athletes use. If an athlete uses damaged equipment or uses equipment wrong and something happens to them, the club will be the ones to account for it.
Leadership. For our scheme, leadership will be an important aspect for the skill to run smoothly. In this case, us two will be the management leaders. We will have a separate roles and we will require help from volunteers.
For example, my leadership role will be to arrange where we will hold the scheme, the equipment we need, the funding and all the finance work. Lucy will be in charge and leads the coaching side, arranging the volunteers and arranging courses for anyone that is willing to volunteer and coach. Lucy will be the lead coach of the organisation. Finally, Lucy is also the leader for advertisement and promoting the scheme. Leadership is important for our scheme for it to run smoothly and so that everyone knows their roles and are able to run the scheme safely.
Organisation. Organisation will be important and is an important skill for all of us to have in the scheme. This is because we need to be organised to know what session we will be delivering each week, and also we need to be organised to get the scheme up and running. Good organisation will link with good leadership because if we are organised as a team and as a scheme, then everyone will know their roles. Everybody will be trained and everyone who is participating will enjoy themselves, and finally, there will not be any confusion within the scheme.
Facilitation. To support our scheme, we will need the equipment, coaches and funding. We have a lot of reliability of funding through self-raising and sponsors to be able to afford the facilities, equipment, insurance cover and training for coaches. We had to consider all of these because this is what's going to support our scheme and to make it run. By considering these, we put into priorities what we need first to start up the scheme and what supports us the most. Obviously, that was the funding and the training for coaches. To start with, we limited the equipment size and the activities and kept to basics while we improved the necessities, and then we were able to build on them and gather more equipment and other important aspects that the scheme needed.
Deal with marketing. As previously said, this will be my role with the scheme. I'll have to deal with promoting the scheme through different marketing ways, including media. There are many ways advertising and marketing can be done. Through social media, TV, radio, posters, billboards and leaflets. My role will be to deal with all of these and promote the scheme through these different ways. I will have to deal with radio station interview promotions and interviews and TV interviews to promote our organisation so we can increase the participation.
As previously said before, there will be roles and responsibilities for us leaders and volunteers and the participants. For us, the first slide describes what us management roles are. The volunteers' roles and responsibilities are to coach the participants safely and with the right techniques. For example, if we were to categorise people depending on their performance, or if we had a real increase in numbers, then the volunteers' coaches' roles will be to adapt to these styles and abilities for training and to provide the right session for them. The coaches and management team's responsibilities are to look after all the participants involved to ensure that they are safe and protected at any age. The roles and responsibilities of participants are that they need to behave correctly so that no injuries or any risks can occur. They need to ensure they wear correct clothing to not sustain any injuries, and they will need to ensure they learn all the correct techniques if using equipment by coaches and trained staff.